Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. Let me put my eyeballs on here. My name is Deneve. My pronouns are she, they, and I will be your service leader this morning for this small but mighty crowd, and all of you lovely people online who have sensibly stayed home in your nice warm houses. I'll be joined by our minister, Reverend Rosemary, this morning as well, and we do hope you feel welcome here. The Unitarian Church of Edmonton is a liberal, religious, multi-generational community. We celebrate a rich mosaic of free-thinking, spiritual questing individuals joined in common support and action. We welcome diversity, pursue the common good, and work for justice. We believe in the compassion of the individual heart, the warmth of community, and the search for meaning in our lives. As part of a commitment to truth and reconciliation, we acknowledge this truth, that the land on which we gather today was called many names by Indigenous peoples that met here for centuries before European colonizers gave it the name Edmonton. We thank those diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors lived on and cared for this territory for centuries, and who remain caretakers of this land today. We do not own this land. The trees, the mountains, the birds, the water, and the animals belong to themselves. We are grateful for all the gifts we receive from this land daily. And we recognize that we are living and defending human rights on Treaty 6 land. Treaties are binding, and so we commit to embracing the collective rights of Indigenous peoples and actively dismantling structures that maintain colonial power and white supremacy. And so, as we begin this special hour together, I invite you to quiet your devices and yourselves so we can enjoy the service further. And I believe that Reverend Rosemary has an announcement or two for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Erica. Good morning. My name is the Reverend Rosemary Morrison, and it is my pleasure and honor to serve this congregation. I welcome all of you that are here in person and you online, as Erica said, the smart ones of us. So I have a minimum of three announcements. The notice went out on Friday that karaoke and spaghetti night is going to be this coming Friday. It is not. It's going to be the last Friday of this month. My co-host Tanya and myself are looking forward to hosting karaoke and having people dance and laugh and sing and have fun and enjoy spaghetti here on that time. The last Monday of the month is UU's on tap, and we'll be meeting at Brewster's anytime after 5:30. Brewster's at Unity Square. I have a sad piece of news for everyone that knows, or for all of us. We hold Elaine Royer and her family, Risa, and her family in our hearts as Don Royer passed away this morning at 4 a.m. peacefully in his sleep. So anyone that knows them, or for all of us, to hold them in our hearts and minds. And also there will be a memorial service for Don in the very near future. We're looking at the last Saturday of this month in the afternoon, just checking on availability of the sanctuary and that kind of thing. If you would like to send a card out to Dawn and, to Elaine and her family, the address to send cards is 237 Ironwood Point, St. Albert, T8N6R1, and that will be, there's going to be a Tuesday email letting everyone know about this, and the address will be there as well, but I'll say it again. 237 Ironwood Point in St. Albert, T8N6R1. And if you don't have a pen and paper and want to know where to send them, you can actually just send them here as well or drop it off here, and I'll make sure that they get it. I forgot to tell you my pronouns, she, her. And I think that's it, except, nope, we're going to practice. There is a love and the meditation on breathing. So I didn't let the people with the slides know that we're going to do that. So while they look for those slides, Karen, would you please play it through once? Yes, thank you. There is a love, and Karen's going to play it through once, while fast-footed folks up there are going to find the slides for us. After. Ready? There is a love in my heart. The meditation on breathing, we'll just go through that once as well. And it's in 3 parts, and the 3 parts go like, oh, you're going to do the teaching.
Well, I don't have the microphone.
Yeah, so tell me what you want me to say.
Or hang on.
Microphone. Thank you, John.
A piece that's sort of a chant that echoes the whole thing. There's a piece for higher voice and a piece for middle voice, and you can choose whichever you like or move between all 3. But if you choose the lower voice, the chant part, you're going to sing what is the 3rd line on the screen, which is simply breathe in, breathe out, and it's all on the same note. So it's just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. If that's feeling too quick for you and you want to be more meditative this morning, you can do it at the halftime. So breathe in, breathe out, whichever you like. If you're wanting to do what's considered the melody part in this song, then you do the 1st and 2nd lines, and they sound like this. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. All right. If you are feeling like you have a little bit more elevation in your voice this morning, you've had your coffee, you've been awake for a while, you can do this 3rd part. So it goes, and it starts just a hair after the 1st beat. So I'll bring everybody in for each part, but the 3rd part sounds like this. It's the same words as the first 2 lines, just different melody. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. right, just so I know, who's thinking they might start on the chant portion? Excellent. Who's feeling like they'd like to do some melody? Good. And who's feeling like they'd like to do the higher part? Excellent. Okay, we have at least one person in each part. So, chanters, please start with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Melody people, get ready. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out. Third part, here you come. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
That was fabulous, everybody. You did amazing. Okay, I was all discombobulated by our order of things, but you all stepped up, so you're awesome. And now we need to do a chalice lighting and Bernard motivational chocolate. That's an inside joke. Don't worry about it. It's going to be our chalice lighter this morning. And our words are by Eric Williams. We all emerge from, dwell within, are transformed by, and called back to love. May your mind be humbled before this mystery. May your heart grow hopeful by it. May you be sustained by this love always. And now we will listen to a prelude. And I have no idea what that prelude is going to be, but I'm sure it will be lovely, from our wonderful Karen Mills. That was beautiful, Karen. Thank you. Now we all get to sing together. Hymn number 188 in your hymnals, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Please stand as you are willing and able. Those of you at home, if you would like to join us, it's up on here, and through the magic of technology, somehow you can do that with us as well. Hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. I love that. Okay, now I get to look through all my papers because I actually printed stuff off trying to be a responsible human today. I can do that occasionally. Ha ha. I get to do a reflection, so I have the stuff for doing a reflection. So we're talking today about love and how we should just keep loving, and it will change your heart and mind. That's our theme, is love this month. I'm going to read you a brief poem. Love, fragile as a spider's web amid tall grasses, a passing dog or even a breeze can undo it. Why does the spider keep going? Hunger, I imagine, and hope. I read that poem in a Reader's Digest of all places when I was a teenager. I can't vouch for its accuracy, and I don't know the author, but the words stayed with me. A reminder that love is something we all strive for, no matter what form it takes. I don't think it's easy to love, not unconditionally, openly, with our whole hearts. We all, by the time we reach adulthood, have a lot of baggage we carry around with us that weighs our hearts down. It not only makes it hard for us to love others, but difficult for us to trust that we are worthy of being loved. It's not surprising then, really, that many people, in the face of all that, give up on love entirely. So it's not my job today to give you the pitch on why you should keep loving. That's Reverend Rosemary's deal. But I can tell you why I keep at it. There was a man, a saint, actually, in India, called Neeb Karori Baba. He lived 73 years. And in that time, he built no temples, wrote no books, gathered no wealth. He died as he lived, with not much more than a large plaid blanket wrapped around him. What he did do was love everyone around him, completely, unreservedly, with no conditions or hesitations. And in doing that, he transformed people's lives. You know how our first principle talks about the inherent worth and dignity of every person? He saw that, affirmed that in everyone who came to him. That's how his disciples talk about him, as him not just loving them despite what they thought of as their flaws, but loving every part of them so totally that those flaws became irrelevant. He made them feel loved in a way they could not deny. His disciples included Ram Dass, Krishna Das, and Larry Brilliant brilliant, who started the Siva Foundation, plus hundreds of others who went on to live satisfying, purposeful lives after spending time in his presence. I'm not a fan of gurus. I think most of them are corrupt in some fashion, actually. But this man did something I find worth emulating, because as cheesy as it sounds, love does change the world. When we feel loved, we are our best selves. I am my best self when I am offering love to the world. I'm no saint, of course, but I think love is a worthy practice. Practice being the operative word there. And I think it's something all of us can find worth in emulating. Oh, and now I have lost my page with, haha, I got it back. And now, I really have too many pages up here. I think I might go back to having stuff on my iPad because I found I don't like pages. We are going to share our abundance. Do we have ushers this morning for helping with sharing our abundance? Oh, we do have an usher. Thank you very much. Okay. Our community is entirely self-governing and self-supporting. You can go ahead and start with that as well. I'm yakking up here. Would be lovely. Thank you very much. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and institutional well-being. In addition to supporting this church community, we also make a monthly commitment beyond our walls. 1/2 of the unidentified cash that is received is given to an outside organization. Some are local, some national, some international. For the month of January, yes, it's January, we are sharing our abundance with Change for Children. I have personally supported Change for Children for many, many years, and they do supportive projects mostly in Central America. They build housing and schools and do many other supportive projects for people in poverty in second and third world countries, and try and help with education and resources for people in need. For those in the sanctuary, you can find envelopes. Nobody's using hymn books, but they are in the hymn books, technically, or they're in back. If you wish a tax receipt for your gift, and you need to indicate on the envelope your contact information so we can send you a tax receipt at year end. Many of our members and friends give monthly or annually through automatic withdrawal for their accounts. And for those of you online, we encourage you to visit the Charity of the Month and their website to make a donation. And we can bring the offering up, and while we do, Karen's gonna do our thing for us, and we can sing From You I Receive. Okay, now you get someone more organized than me.
Just going to close you up here, Erica. And then I'd like to invite everyone into a time of meditation, contemplation, prayer, relaxation, whatever it is that you find helpful, whatever word works for you. And I invite you to begin this process by taking a couple of deep, long breaths. And as you do that, Can you feel the chair giving you a hug? Is it supporting you? Can you let your muscles go? Relax them. Unclench your jaw. Unfurl your fist and stretch out your fingers. Notice your breath entering your nostril and going down into your lungs, where your lungs capture that life-giving oxygen, carrying it to all the parts of your body. Can you feel it? Can you feel all the parts of your body? And then we release what we no longer need. Once again, relax into the chair. Let it hold you. Let gravity take over your body. Your jaw goes slack. Your hands limp. Your legs just dangle. Whether you're in a chair or a couch or a bed or on the floor, I invite you to take one more deep, long breath. In and then out. I offer these words by Rebecca Parker. In the shadowed quiet of winter's light, earth speaks softly of her longing, because the wild places are in tears. Come, she cries out to us, kneel down here on the frosty grass and feel the prayer buried in the ground. Bend your ear to my heart and listen hard. Love this world, she whispers. Distill peace from the snow and water the cities with mercy. Weave wonder from the forest and clothe grief with beauty. Rest in the rhythm of the turning year. Trace the bending arc or surrounding the curve toward justice. And vow anew to do no harm. We'll just take a few moments of silence. In the shadowed quiet of winter's light, earth speaks softly of her longing. Because the wild places are in tears. Come, she cries to us, kneel down here on the frosty grass and feel the prayer buried in the ground. Bend your ear to my heart and listen hard. Love this world, she whispers. Distill peace from the snow and water the cities with mercy. Weave wonder from the forest and clothe grief with beauty. Rest in the rhythm of the turning year. Trace the bending arc, rounding the curve toward justice. And vow anew to do no harm. We're going to take 1 minute of silence, and then Karen will bring us into our meditation hymn, meditation on breathing that we practiced during the announcements time. Remain seated and enjoy this 1 minute of silence. mind as we enjoy this quiet moment of contemplation. We examine our hearts and our minds. Let us move into a time of lighting candles of joy and concern. It is our practice on most Sundays, as it is in most Unitarian congregations, Unitarian Universalist congregations, to light candles of joy and concern. I invite you to do so now if there is something on your heart, to light a candle. The stations are open. Thank you. And Erica will light one last candle for all those joys and concerns in our hearts and minds that sometimes may even need yet to be fully thought through. And if you could light before you douse, if you could light one more. I've been thinking about this cold and all of those that are unhoused at this time, and it scares me. And thank you. Hold those folks in our hearts. Thank you, Erica. Just keep loving. It'll change your heart and mind. You'll understand where I got the title from after the message. We'll be watching a video presentation, and that is the name of it. It's by Nemo from Empty Hands Music. The reading this morning is from Welcoming the Unwelcome by Pema Chodron. Pema Chodron, is a Buddhist monk. She lives in a monastery in Halifax. She's an American Buddhist monk, but is living in Gampo Abbey. Thank you. And prolific writer and teacher of millions, including myself. Sometimes we catch ourselves about to do something that doesn't feel quite right. We're about to react habitually, and we feel a tinge of misgivings or queasiness. At such times, we may avoid a lot of trouble by asking ourselves a simple question. Does it matter? Does it matter what we do? Can we just do anything we want and ask forgiveness after? Does it really matter? This is closely related to one of the Buddhists' main interests, how to lead a virtuous life. Every spiritual tradition is concerned with virtue. But what does virtue actually mean? Is it the same as following a list of do's and don'ts? Does a virtuous person have to be a goody-goody? I certainly hope not. I wouldn't be one. Is it necessary to be dogmatic, rigid, or smug? Or is there room to be playful, spontaneous, and relaxed? Is it possible to enjoy life while at the same time being virtuous? Like many spiritual traditions, the Dharma has lists of positive and negative actions. Buddhists are encouraged to commit to some of the precepts, such as not to kill or steal or lie. But the Buddha didn't establish these rules merely for people to conform to outer codes of behavior. The Buddha's main concern was for people to be free of suffering. Free of suffering. One of my favorite Buddha quotes is, "Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional." I don't know if he actually said that, but it's attributed to him. With the understanding that our suffering originates from our confused mind, his objective was always to help us wake up out of our confused state. He therefore encouraged or discouraged certain forms of behavior based on whether they promoted or hindered that process of awakening. When we ask ourselves, does it matter? We can first look at the outer, more obvious results of our actions, but then we can go deeper by examining how we are affecting our own mind. Am I making things more habitual? Am I kind of creating a place for myself where I keep doing the same things that I'm not really happy with? Or am I strengthening things that I want to lessen in my life? Am I going in the direction of becoming a more deceitful person or a guilty person? How about when I experiment with practicing patience or generosity? How are my actions affecting my process of awakening? Where will they lead? By questioning ourselves, Pema says, in these ways, we start to see virtue in a new light. Virtuous behavior is not about doing good because we feel we're bad and need to shape up. Instead of guilt or dogma, how we choose to act can be guided by wisdom and by kindness. Seen in that light, our question then boils down to, what awakens my heart? And what blocks this process from happening? The end of quote. That's the end of the quote. The description for this service is, we made it through the holiday season, and in whatever way you celebrate it or not, now it's time to get down to the task of carrying on with our lives. As we continue to learn how to live in covenant with one another and with the Unitarian Church of Edmonton, let's explore how love can liberate us. Liberating love is our theme, as Erica said. Let's explore how love can liberate us, hold us, and help us grow into being in right relationship with one another. And I'm going to veer off that path just a little bit, but not too far. So before the holiday season, I found myself getting, just a little bit frustrated with the way things are here. As with most organizations, there are a few people doing the lion's share of the work to make this congregation run smoothly. I remember when I was a pack leader, when I had a bunch of kids in school, it was like, okay, there's 300 kids in this school. How come it's like me and you only? But it was me, and so that was good. And then we had some great leaders, and we did some great things. So while I have no intent of making anyone feel bad or guilty, I will do my best to deliver this message in a way that you do not feel that. And I do want to have people come to some awareness of how vast the systems are that run UCE. Brandy was going to be here and talk about that this morning, but she's not, so I won't say that. Okay. She's coming next week, and we'll talk about it as well. So a congregation like UCE is run practically entirely by volunteers. You have 2 paid staff, myself and Janet Pokowski, your office administrator. She is here for 20 hours a week, and her days are very full. I am also your employee, in a way. However, I like to refer to myself as a servant leader. I serve this congregation, and I also lead it. I am responsible for being your spiritual leader. I am here to help you with the ups and downs of life. I help with administration. I supervise staff. I sometimes do dishes. I bought coffee this morning, on and on. Sometimes I lead by doing, and sometimes I lead by not doing, as Lao Tse instructs in his work, the Tao Te Ching. Lao Tse wrote the Tao about 400 before Common Era, BCE, and it is basically a leadership manual. I've read it, I've studied it, and delivered sermons on it many times and probably will again. Lao Tse instructs leaders to sometimes use space and time to hold back, to allow others to fill in the gaps, to see where they fit in, and to help folks understand that they can do whatever they set their minds to. He's the one that said, and the people came to the end and they said, we did it all by ourselves. That a leader is supposed to be almost, in his mind, a leader is supposed to be almost invisible, so that the people know that they're the ones that can carry the mission and the vision forward. And then there's that pride in that, right? In this month's newsletter, hang on. I won't just hold the water, I'll drink it. In this month's newsletter, I outlined the 4 main areas that I am focusing my ministry on this year. The first one is hospitality. The second is completing the work needed for our covenant. We've got the first part down. There's 2 more parts to come. And Karen Mills, thank you, is working diligently on these. The third is to get the membership team up and running. We have policies and procedures in place. There's been some really hard work done on that, and now we're about to meet to begin to implement those policies and procedures. The fourth is to create and implement a pastoral care team. There's 3 of us that have met a couple of times, and now we're going to expand that out and have about 10 people on that team, and I've approached a few people. All 4 of these areas are where we can share ministry. Have you heard this term before? Shared ministry. And then there are so many other areas where you can share in the ministry of this congregation. What does that even mean, you might ask? And I would say that there are so many things that have to happen so that people can come here, be fed spiritually and with coffee and cookies, have good conversations, even find their best friend, connect and have a sense of belonging, because we all need to feel love and belonging, don't we? Like, that's one of the main tenets of our lives. We need to feel like we belong somewhere. Oh, yeah, I have watched a lot of Brené Brown, for sure. We also hear, and sharing the ministry, we can learn and hone skills, grow personally and spiritually, and find out those places in ourselves where we get irritated with people. Did you know that when you get irritated with someone, it's probably because they mirror something about you that you don't like about yourself? And that's a good sermon for another day. In the opening reading by Pema Chodron, she talks about how the Dharma teachings are all geared toward lessening the suffering of all living things, and that suffering is mostly caused by the confusion of our minds. The Buddha's objective was to help us wake up from our confused and unaware states, that we wake up or become enlightened. Pema Chodron suggests that we ask ourselves, does it matter, really? Are we simply running on autopilot, doing what we've always done, continuing to dig deeper ruts in the things that we do that aren't maybe working? Instead, we can begin to operate with wisdom and with knowledge, and with awareness as Shodran invites us. I think it is very important that we all hear that if we want the things to happen the way that we would like them to happen, then we all need to be doing what we can. I know that many are doing a lot. Many are doing a tremendous amount. And many have served well, and now it's time to let others lead. And some of you are doing too much, and I worry about that, because you'll get resentful. So don't do too much, because then you'll get resentful and go, and then you'll leave, and we don't want that. Since I've been here, I've been finding myself over-functioning. One way of thinking of that is that I'm not sharing the ministry of the church well enough. Someone else might be benefiting from doing some of the things that I'm doing, well, that a Master's of Divinity is not required for. We'll be putting out a list of tasks that need to be filled, and I hope that you look at those and think about where you might fit in. I have also recently become aware that my way of doing things and your way of doing things doesn't always jive too well. So we're still kind of getting to know one another. I have discovered that folks at UC like to be asked each and every time something needs to be done. My way of doing things is I'm going to model it for you. And then I might ask once and say, here's what I would like. Or what do you think about this? Don't you think we should? And then I'm going to hand it to you. And then it magically happens. I love magic. But I've found that that's not working all that well. So, I'm a systems person. I want systems in place so that when something needs to happen, those that do those things just do it. No asking required. I'm not good at asking. And I have discovered that that's not working very well. And so I actually think we've been working at cross purposes here. I want to name that there are some hard-working folks here at UCE, and I am very appreciative of them, and we need to stop relying on them to do all the things. One of the measuring sticks I have is that if you are serving in more than 3 different areas of the church, then you're doing too much. Why, you might ask, would that be? Well, everyone needs a chance to share in the ministry of this church. When we share in the ministry of the church, we are putting ourselves into a loving and reciprocal relationship with others and with this congregation. There is an old saying, we can only get out of something what we put in. So if we don't make, and so if we need to make room for the folks that are new, that are on the margins, bring them into the center, not only help as helpers, but also their voices. And sometimes if things are already, if too many people are a few people are doing too much of the work, it looks to newcomers or those that really want to get involved that there's nothing left for them to do. And we're doing them a disservice. I used to work at an old store next to the Army and Navy on White Avenue back when I lived here in Edmonton, and I was right out of high school, so it was a very long time ago. It was called Chapman Brothers. Anybody ever heard of it? Yeah? So I worked there for about a year, like right out of high school. I think I was the only non-family member that worked there, and everybody was like, how'd you get this job? But I think it was one of my favorite jobs. And I'll never forget some of the lessons old Bus Chapman taught me. He trained me, and he said, when someone walks into the store, they're here for a reason. They are looking for something that we offer. It's our job to help them find what they need and treat them well while we're at it, so that they have a good experience and come back. He was a funny character, old Bus Chapman. And he did the front of the house, and he mostly deaf. And his brother, can't remember his name, did all the books, mostly blind. It was great working there. Yeah. It's the same here. When people when people walk through our doors, or if they've been attending for a time, they are here for a reason. Why are they here? Why do people come? It's our job to help them find their way and to help them find their why. To help them and also to help them feel like this might be their home. Being at home means doing things. Most people don't attend a congregation just to sit in the pews and be talked at. I'm not that good at this. It's not going to be what you want. People arrive here wanting to be of service, wanting to help make the systems run smoothly, because doing so is where the fun is. It's where we meet people. Some of the greatest relationships I've made at church have been with my hands in the kitchen sink with soapy water, chatting with the person to my right, drying the dishes. Let's get back to our original topic, shall we? Let's talk about how love can liberate us, hold us, and help us grow into being in right relationship with one another as we think about UCE, the systems that are in place here, the systems that need some adjustment, and how we can do all this with deep love for one another. If we were running our homes without systems, if no one knew how things were getting done and we weren't participating in those systems, it would not feel like a love that could hold and sustain us. It would feel a little bit like chaos if that was your home. I think we owe it to ourselves to love one another so much that we want everyone to have an excellent experience here at UCE. Would that feel like a liberating love? A love that holds and sustains us? A love that frees us up to do great things for one another and for the wider community? So just keep loving. It'll change your heart. It'll change your mind. And then you'll start to change your eyes, so keep loving. Everything you touch, everyone you see, will soon become your family. We're going to watch a video in a moment, and these words are the chorus of the song that we're going to be, of the video song that we're going to be watching and sing along. And it's obvious where I snared the title for this service. I have been in contact with the creator of this video, Nemo, a few times, and he is so happy that we're using his work. He simply wants to get the word out that love, kindness, compassion, and magic are what is important and sorely needed in today's bruised and hurting world. And if you are watching on YouTube later on, the video will not be on the recording. I encourage you to look up this video. It's Empty Hands Music. Nemo Patel is the author and creator of these videos. There's many on Empty Hands Music, and this one is called Keep Loving. I hope you enjoy it. So it's all about love. So let's sing about love. We're going to sing hymn number 1014. It's in the Teal hymn book, if that's what you'd like to look at. And the words will come up on the screen. It was originally titled Standing on the Side of Love, and it's by Jason Shelton. And he has asked that the words be changed to Answering the Call of Love. So it is that song that you're probably familiar with. Answering the Call of Love. Please rise in body or in spirit as you would like.
Well, now you have to wait for me to find my stuff again. That's okay. I'm mostly organized, I promise. Okay, heckling is not allowed, miss. Bernard. Oh, I have to find the words. That's okay. Oh, you have the words? Oh, I have the words. No, I got the words. It's okay. I have the words. We're good. The words for extinguishing our chalice today are from Rosemary Watola Trammer. I wish you the peace that comes when we trust ourselves to meet whatever life brings. I wish you love beyond happy endings, the kind of love that seeps into everything, no matter where the story goes. And we're good there. Reverend Rosemary will do our benediction, and then we will sing Carry the Flame.
I first want to thank everyone that participated in this service, your contributions and your participation and your willingness and your writing skills and tech stuff and all of the things. And I also want to thank each person that's listening and now and in the future for their service to this congregation. Does never go without being noticed. So, and now we go into the brave. We become brave now, and there is coffee, and I bought cookies just to make it easier to go out into the cold. And there's motivational chocolate. Really? Yes. Oh, I hope it's gluten-free. I offer you these words of benediction, my L.R. Nost, that I have adapted. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. Things break all the time, and they can be mended, but not with time, as they say, with intention. So I invite you now to go and love intentionally, love extravagantly, and utmostly important to love unconditionally, for the broken world waits in darkness for the light that is within you. So go in peace, gentle people, go in peace. Amen. And let us sing our linking song, Carry the Flame. That's it.